So 2 Chainz, the Alchemist and Larry June stopped by the Breakfast Club to talk about their new collaboration album last week. Has anybody listened to that? I have not yet.
I have a take on that, but go ahead, bro.
Okay. But yeah, during the interview, 2 Chainz talked about the difference between trap beats and soulful loops, that Alchemist typically produces, and how he has to approach them differently. So let's watch this little clip and then talk a little bit more.
Yo. What about those type of that sound energizes your pen though, Chainz?
My voice is able to cut through on samples. With the trap drums, I'll be having to kind of yell a little bit. I can sit down and record when I'm doing these songs. I'll be having to stand up and record trap songs, and I'll be having to kind of be creative. And sometimes it hit it, sometimes it miss, but I have to be creative around the drums and kind of peek my head out. But with those loops and things.
I mean, God forbid he has to be creative.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Lone. Don't do that.
No.
And
I like 2 Chainz, but yeah,
things like that. I'm able just to get my idea across.
Looser.
He was like, I have to stand up to do trap music.
Shout out to Looser.
Because he got to picture himself in the club jumping.
But there's merit to what he's saying. I'm just being stupid.
Looser because it's just a fillet. It's not like it's kind of understated the production, so it leaves room for like the lyricists. Like if you got something to say on those type of beats, you're gonna flourish. Chainz, Larry, they're those type of MCs. Like less is more.
Expound on that. I mean, you said like a fillet,
like a raw fillet of music versus like a stacked up. Compare like a trap beat to something that's layered up.
I guess focus on the vocals.
Some of these are kind of just raw, and it's just like a mood. You know what I mean? Where it's like they're just to move their pen. So it's like the focus is on the lyricist. He's been one. The people who know music know 2 Chainz has always been top tier with the pen. But he always had the knack to make hit records too.
Exactly.
But that never fooled me. Like I could tell the MCs like a Big Sean or somebody who's like, he makes hit records, but he can rap extremely well with anybody who you would put on any list. So
this project, first of all, Alchemist is being Alchemist on this one. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This is coming from someone who's a Larry June fan. I like Larry June. I had to figure out what he was, but once I understood what he was, I'm like, you do that better than everybody else, right? Okay. But hearing 2 Chainz rap over these beats, I damn near didn't need him. I damn near didn't need him on the project. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Like I like him on the hooks. He does a lot of dope melodic stuff on some of the beats. So he's in that pocket. That's what he does.
It's kind of like the Fetty joint, or where was not Fetty.
No, not Fetty. I know what you're talking about.
One with Currency and Gibbs, where.
Oh, that
was Fetty.
That's
right?
Fetty. That's Fetty. That's Fetty.
But like Gibbs shined the entire time.
Bro.
Currency was there just.
And Currency to me is a better rapper than Larry June. I'm just talking about for this. I literally could have done 2 verses from Chainz on about 9 of these.
Gotcha.
And maybe had June in the pocket for the hook and been perfectly fine.
I see.
It's just this is from someone that actually rock with Larry June. I think he picks great beats, knows how to make good, chill records. I like listening to him, riding to him. It works. But for this, I really enjoy 2 Chainz rapping on these.
Yeah, 2 Chainz can rap.
He's been able to rap, but hearing him and Alchemist line up, I was pleasantly surprised. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. When it came to listening to that particular project, 2 Chainz shined on there because it was a version of 2 Chainz that you don't really get.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And he was able to pretty much flex his lyrical muscle on there and show you what he could do. And he did kind of outshine Larry June. I ain't gonna front. Are we just talking about specifically the style of beats as far as trap beats versus?
So I think it's more about the approach. What he said about the approach? Would that be fair to say?
I think the approach is. I mean, we can go however you want to go. I have a couple.
Go ahead, bro.
A couple questions about this, but Mike posed a question here. He says, "How does it make you feel when artists get a chance to talk about what they love to do, even though it goes against what they are known for?" So that would be one comment. Like 2 Chainz.
He just told you. This what I really like to get in this. I really like to get into this bag.
Right.
But what I'm known for is XYZ.
Yeah, this stuff over here.
To me, that's always been very interesting because every once in a while you'll. Truthfully, what Jay say? The common line. I ain't been rhyming like common sense. That bar. Truthfully, I be Talib Kweli, that bar. It's the same thing. You hear artists a lot talk about, man, I just love to be able to get over some soulful stuff or some boom bap stuff and just get my thoughts out. But then it's like, why don't you do that more? Because you can do that if you're good enough and still maybe make it work per se. But I don't know, man, because that's always been very interesting to me. You can do it and love it in the shadows, But who am I to say that everybody doesn't want to make music?
You just talked
make
about
money.
You literally just talked about 2 artists that stayed true to doing that.
That's fair. That's fair.
And have not seen the success that a Jay-Z has,
That's
or
fair.
even a 2 Chainz. Like Common has.
Yeah.
I'll say Common has seen the success of a 2 Chainz, but as far as commercial success, 2 Chainz for a minute it was a sought after artist.
Everybody wanted 2 Chainz
in order to
project.
make their sound pop or make it go off on the radio.
It's true.
I mean, whenever he dropped a single or something leading up into an album, it went right to the radio because he knows that formula very well. I think what this did for him was what made him love rapping.
Titty Boy stage.
He used to go off as Titty Boy.
I wouldn't even say that's Titty Boy. This is pre-Titty Boy. This is him being introduced to rap.
Right.
And he really likes the art form of rapping and hip hop and things of that nature. Because even Titty Boy, I mean, that was
Player Circle.
He was rapping on Player Circle, though.
But it still was a different style of music.
Right, for sure.
True.
You know?
This actually kind of is reminiscent. We were just talking earlier on the show about how Freddie Gibbs got with Madlib, and and some people were kind of shocked by that, right?
That's what this is.
Similar. Like Gibbs could rap before, but it's a different type of exposure when you're rapping over somebody who's known for providing the landscape or the soundscape for lyrical stuff.
Well, I think he's in a position now, to y'all point, we kind of alluded to
it's not hurting him.
No, it's not hurting. That's the part. So I respect him jumping on something that's in his heart. I like that about him. But you don't see artists take this type of leap, I guess, on the come up versus the established version of themselves. Because once we get comfortable, the money's made. So now I'm just saying from what I typically see, I don't know where the risk comes in a lot.
You seen Lil Wayne make a rock album.
But he was all right. Wayne was already good, though.
But he did it, though. What I'm saying is you're saying you don't see artists take those chances like that.
When I'm
talking about as they're ascending.
Like that could knock them off their
that's what I'm talking That's what I'm talking
Wayne
about.
was already
Wayne was
established
straight when he
point,
did that.
But I mean, 2 Chainz is established as 2 Chainz.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
Yeah, he's straight. He's straight.
So I don't see
the
anything.
correlation's not,
Because I look at it like this. When you no longer have to rap to eat, like 2 Chainz doesn't, but you're not in a position where there is an A&R or somebody at the top of your label saying, okay, we need a hit. We need this for Hot 97. We need this for a potential crossover. He can do what he wants now and express himself artistically, which is something that you really don't get a chance to do when you're on the come up, if you will, when you're signed to those major label situations, because your viability is about your ability to make hits. He's not worried about making something that's going to get into heavy rotation and get played every 45 minutes on, urban radio or whatever that even means right now.
Because he already got them.
He already has those, So, and the thing is, I remember there was, I think it was Mercy. I can't remember when 2 Chainz was everywhere on the radio.
Had the best verse.
And I actually,
song.
And I remember he rapped something, because I was aware of 2 Chainz, especially with Player Circle, and then the time he did with DTP. And he said, something like black diamonds, white diamonds, apartheid. I was like, wait a minute, how old is 2 Chainz to even have, the word apartheid thinking about South Africa? Yeah. And then I looked it up. Me and 2 Chainz are the same age. Yeah. 2 Chainz is 47 years old.
Yeah.
That's a grown man.
At this point, are you even trying to make records to try to appeal to that, contemporary hits, rhythmic, you may not even, I'm not even saying he doesn't have the ability, but even with him having the ability, does he want to do it?
I think that kind of goes to the point he said, with these beats, I can sit down and relax with them and actually make my pen move.
Yeah.
Versus me being in the studio and I got to sit up.
Right.
I gotta stand up. He has to play a part when he's doing these trap songs. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you guys a question. And this is something that I've had written down for a while, but now it actually kind of makes sense to bring it up. Is music impact more important than the music itself? Because think about it. You know what I mean?
Well, I listen to music that will never be played on the radio.
That's you again, right? But
well, we talking in the grand scheme of things, right?
Yeah, I mean,
say it one more time.
Is music impact more important than the music itself?
No.
Talking about history.
Well, yes, it is. I take that back. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
The impact is more important than the music itself, because we talked about Michael Jackson, or we talk about Prince. Yes, they had impact. Was the music great? Yes.
Yes.
But we also know of music that was not. Look, Who Let the Dogs Out had impact.
Yeah,
it did.
You know, I don't know another Baja Men song.
Nope.
But
I think this
that song had impact, and anybody listening to me knows what Who Let the Dogs Out is 20 years later.
Lone, this is a good one because I can speak to both sides. I can speak to records that I know that have impact.
Here's another question.
Oh, let's go.
Should music impact be more important than the music itself?
No.
If that is the truth.
Not necessarily.
No, because to me, at the core, it's about the music. I've always been that person. Whatever side you want to check that side off, that's me. Mm-hmm. I've always been about the music first. How it's made me feel, the memories, how I can relate. There's records I can go back to. I know exactly where I was when I heard it. That's the music. It has nothing to do with the rest of it. That's the impact on me individually. So I'm going to individualize it. So I'm more towards the music side, but I could see why someone could say, you know, impact from sales or
and
commercial. I can see that.
Commercially, impact makes the most sense. Impact is what's going to make this a memorable moment musically. I don't think it should be, but it is, and because it's commercially successful.
There you go.
You're leading towards where I'm leading you down the path.
So
why is it such?
Yeah, it shouldn't be, because like say years we're far gone now. Mm-hmm. So what exists in the history books, if it's a music topic, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be those impactful moments. Now, somebody that's really into music and decides to go to school for music is going to find out about the other part of it versus the impact. So they'll be like, so why aren't we talking about this? Because this body of work is a lot better than this impactful song, because it didn't move the needle like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's all about commercial success at the end of the day.
What about this? So the Slide documentary, right? Slide and Family Stone. I learned a lot of stuff during that documentary. First of all, I've always known he's been a genius, right? But I'm looking at the music for what it is, and they talked about how successful they were once they got together and formed, they got the band. But a lot of that stuff, the impact of that stuff was just the music by watching the documentary for what he was talking about versus, I guess, what it was doing on the charts or whatever. So I don't know, man, because he's the perfect example. There's impact on the charts. There's impact on the records. And both are deep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Like This is where we have to uncolonize our minds a little bit,
man. You know,
because I mean, think about it. I prefer personally the overall artist experience versus
I do too.
The impact
Mm-hmm.
joints.
I do too.
When it comes to impact joints, or the ones that move the needle the most, are usually my least favorite songs from those particular artists. Mm-hmm. My favorite moments from an artist is a body of work.
True.
So even if to bring up Michael Jackson again, everybody always says Thriller is the magnum opus of Michael Jackson. To me, After a While is better than that.
Right.
But he has more impactful singles on Thriller.
Yeah.
That's going to make it stand out. Now, from somebody with a musical mind that goes back and listens to things, they might be like, no, After a While is better than Thriller to me. But that's just you speaking from being a lover of music. Mm-hmm. That's still not going to change what that impact that Thriller did, regardless. The impact stays.
It does.
The allure or the body of work that an artist does and everybody doesn't necessarily pay attention to. I mean,
Terry,
that's just something that stays there, and certain people feel that same way, but it never pushes that to the point where it's impactful.
That side that you're talking about, we'll call it the B side or whatever, is way more subjective than the other side because there's metrics that go with it. Like you can see impact from a commercial standpoint. I guess I'm speaking for the charts, like how records do. We know Thrillers, we know what them numbers are. We ain't got to talk about that. But that other side, like you talking about the other side, to me, that's where we get more subjective because it goes into more about how you feel and how you approach it and who looks at it this way and who looks at it that way. So I guess that's maybe how I divide it because there are metrics that speak to impact that you can't deny. You cannot argue it. That other side is more subjective, in my opinion, where you can kind of get in there and get into the nuance of what you really like.
Yeah, because
if that makes
like
sense.
I said, it's still not gonna change anybody's opinion or what those particular songs or impactful moments did for said artist.
Right.
Nothing's going to erase that. No matter if everybody decides, oh, this album is really good now, 20, 30 years later, it's still not going to hold a candle to what happened before.
Yeah. Yep. Good point.
I mean, I would say Soulja Boy has a lot of impact.
Yes.
He does.
You know what I mean? But it's not really arguable that his early stuff wasn't relatively good. It was just very impactful.
Yes.
You know, he's become a better artist throughout the years, you know.
I appreciate
I mean,
you.
I know what you're saying.
I appreciate you saying that, though, because I appreciate you saying that because, you know, sometimes people will say we ignore the past or we're only focusing on this type of artist or whatever. Game recognized game. You can't tell the lineage and the story of hip hop without Soulja Boy's section.
No.
You capping if you try to ignore him. You just can't.
Another great example is Silk the Shocker. His early stuff was a lot more impactful.
Facts.
But he's dropped records in the last 5 years or so where he's
put out something recently.
Where his ad-libs aren't out rapping him. You know what I mean? So like the quality of the music that he's putting out is a lot higher.
I'm gonna give you a couple more artists who had impactful moments in time and kind of disappeared into oblivion. Tone Loc had impactful moments.
There's a time when Tone Loc was on top of the game.
Come on, man.
Tone Loc,
Vanilla Ice.
Come on.
Had an impactful moment in hip hop. Now
MC Hammer.
Look, MC Hammer had an impactful movement.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's more of a movement. I'm gonna give Hammer more of a movement.
And the thing is, even with Vanilla Ice, like people say, "Oh, I hate him," but if I go, "Okay, stop," everybody knows what comes next.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna cap.
People know his. Look, I know for a fact that people know his music in other countries.
I'm not gonna cap. I'm not about to sit here and lie to y'all. I got duped off the single, but I bought Vanilla Ice first album. I bought it.
All right.
You know, we didn't realize we were supposed to hate Vanilla Ice until later. Because I remember it being played.
Album was trash.
I remember his records getting played on Magic 108 in St. Louis.
Yeah.
I remember those
on the radio here.
Sure did.
So, and Magic 108 is the Heritage Black station. You know, so
we caught the message late though. We caught the message late though, because I bought in off the single, but Trey and you know,
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. You're right.
When we talk about impact, you can't say that Vanilla Ice had impact. MC Hammer had impact.
Facts.
Young MC, Tone Loc, those people that you may not put in this pantheon of hip hop legends. Like, they had impact. There's a reason why they can still tour today.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the interesting part of this conversation, right? Because I don't want to frame this as if like musical impact is not an important thing, because music that can impact and influence somebody in a positive way or in general, I think it is good, you know. But there's an interesting relationship with the musicality of itself and impact, and both can be true. It's almost like they're different buckets or something that you have to pull out of. But it's weird. Maybe kind of goes to the conversation earlier. Does it even make sense to pit these two things together? I don't know. But the 2 Chainz argument right here about him choosing the trap beats, because that is obviously where he has more impact to more people. He's going to impact more people doing stuff like that. He's going to reach more people doing that stuff.
Facts.
But he also could potentially reach an entirely different type of group rapping over Alchemist beats, where he's able to actually flex his pen a little bit more and get a little bit more in depth. And then the question becomes, what is actually more impactful in that moment being for him? Is it reaching somebody where he can actually be himself a little bit more and share who he is, or just throwing a whole bunch of stuff at the wall and having people grab onto him, but not really, you know, none of the stuff is like, it's just, it's what it is.
Well, there's nobody saying, hey, 2 Chainz, we need this for the radio. We need this for the strip club.
It's not a strip club. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not like, you know, from an artistic standpoint, it's like, it's almost like throwing a whole bunch of stuff at the wall. I don't want to say low effort, but is maybe a low effort from a pen standpoint.
I think the latter. I think him doing this has the potential to have more impact, because there's so much of the other stuff that you can go find. It's not as unique as this. So there's somebody out there that was like me. I'm actually a 2 Chainz. We all rock with 2 Chainz. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
But there's some people out there that rock with 2 Chainz that are gonna be like, man, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And this world is huge. There's a lot of people that I think when they hear this are gonna be like, I didn't know he had this. I didn't know he had this over this.
So. I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so. And I'm going to tell you why I don't think so. I think he's remaining true to himself by doing both of them.
That's
now,
fair.
What he's doing now is tapping into a whole different market. Now, I can't say that that's going to be more impactful for him because you can compare like what Killer Mike did with Run the Jewels versus what he did on his solo joint that won the Grammy.
But I think Killer Mike was who he was before Run the Jewels.
True, but
he was different than the Purple Ribbon All-Stars.
There's people that have never heard Run the Jewels.
That's fair.
And he still won a Grammy off that album.
That's fair.
2 Chainz does not have to record another trap album for the rest of his life. And every day in every city when it's somebody's birthday, you don't hear all I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So whether you deem what he's doing now more respectful,
right,
on a hip hop point of view, he's carved his lane in the trap joints and it's going to remain, regardless of what he does now.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is going to. This doesn't make him or break him.
I don't think so.
I don't
think it changes his impact either. I don't think what he's doing now is going to make him more impactful in any way, shape, or form.
I think maybe
he might win some more fans, but it's not going to change anything as far as his impact.
I think in that society, I think that's where we differ because to your point, he's already established for who he is. I'm speaking more to a nuance in terms of those fans that didn't know perhaps that this was in his bag.
I'll be fresh as hell if the feds watch it.
I'm riding around, I'm getting it.
Man, these are songs you can play at any given time.
They are.
And people are going to sing along with it, and they're going to be in there like he isn't talking about explaining, I'm bouncing around in the studio. I can't sit down when I make these songs. Because it gives a person a certain type of energy. I think what we're doing is kind of taking away the skill level it takes to make a song like that versus one that he's making like this.
Potentially. But I think what I'm more so, I mean, he said it himself though. He said like, I'm able to flex, get more down with my pen I'm able to you're getting more of my pen in this particular manner, I guess, is you're getting more of him. And that's all that I'm really speaking on because, it takes skill to be able to make a hit record. We all 100%. We all know that, and he's got a lot of them, and he's got records where he is rapping really well anyways. Yeah. So this isn't like this is new for him, but at the same time, so I think that's more so kind of what I'm trying to like correlate that based upon kind of like what he's kind of alluding to in type of a way, like those trap records is, I mean,
I'm thinking this is his comfort zone right now.
Potentially.
I just think it's dope that he actually says this out loud. Like, this is something that I really enjoy. That's what I'm taking from it. Yeah. This is something that I really enjoy. It's a pocket I can really get into that I actually love. I can do this. But I think to me that's dope that he even says this.
It is, but he's fortunate enough to be one of those artists that has had success and has done it time after time after time.
True.
As far as, I mean, there's artists trying to do what he's already done.
For sure.
And he's true. like, and it's almost a slight if we talk about him stepping down from that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I don't like.
No,
I don't want to talk like he's stepping down for what he's already been known for doing.
No, I feel
like he's kind of just in a different pocket right now.
I would say stepping over.
He wants to explore that because he feels comfortable doing that right now as a 47-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Still in the rap game and not thinking about retiring.
For sure.
True.
Which is what point you always talk about, right?
Yeah.
But I also do think at the same time, like him doing this specifically, as opposed to this stuff generally doesn't sell in the same type of manner. So there's
not even close.
And when we talk about that in the commercial side of everything, that is directly related to how many people you can impact, how many people you're in front of. So I do think that is related, regardless if we want to make that comparison or not. I think it kind of exists anyways. But no, I understand what you're saying, and I actually agree with that.
And Larry June is one of those cult following artists too.
100%.
Yeah.
So 100%. him getting on that wave with Larry June exposes him to more fans with a different sound, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm cool with that, but I don't want to like
diminish.
You know what I'm saying? Diminish his light on what he's already succeeded doing.
No, 2 Chainz he's a whole legend in terms of what he's done. Like we can set all that to the side for sure. We know who he is, 100%. I'm just giving him his P's for being able to, be comfortable and be confident enough to go step into this bag and actually execute that mug flawlessly. In my opinion, like he just knocked it out. I liked it.
Which is realistically probably a bag of 47-year-olds should probably be in.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, he's a grown man.
Yeah, like we just talked about Jay-Z with 444.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe he don't want to talk about strip club shit all the time anymore.
Even when the Magna Carta record came out, there are certain records I heard and I was like, this sounds so forced. From what Jay-Z was trying to do, because you are a married dude who's, I don't know if he was a billionaire at that time or
that
whatever.
was the Samsung pushed album.
Yeah, exactly.
That was phone had that album.
When I remember we had a conversation about product over art. Yeah, that album was product. That's probably why it's one of my least favorite Jay-Z.
There's some heat on that album now.
It is,
but when you hear like F with me, I got it. I'm like, get this out of here.
Some heat on that album, though.
But then you got the other joints on there that are
Picasso,
crazy.
Baby. Picasso, that's hard.
The one with Frank Ocean is crazy.
That joint is hard.
But then like you really.
What's the outro? Oh, never mind.
We're not going to talk about that. But I'm just saying, like, there's a difference between the product that was Magna Carta and the art that is 444.
Now that's a good point.
Yeah, the same body has to flex different muscles. I mean,
hey, man.
You might go to the gym and have leg day today, but you got to do upper body one day too. So,
no, that's real. That's real.
You get a different type of workout when you're standing up versus sitting down.
Yes.
Hey, man.
That's a great bow right there to put on this. That's great. Shout out to 2 Chainz, man. I like the project.
Absolutely.
For real. Him and Larry June. Salute to them and the Alchemist, for sure.